All right, so welcome back to another video. I haven't made a video in a little bit, but I've made some improvements and not a lot, but some things have changed. So one thing that has changed is I got this guy. This is what is it? A Hollyland M2 lav mic. And it works pretty well. So I can move around like this, and it's the same audio, and it's kind of cool. I'm learning a little bit more about like audio and editing and all that. Even like talking into this, I'm gonna have to go back into edit. Like I'm probably gonna have to transfer this video onto my computer because it's gonna be very loud, and I'm just gonna have to like equalize the audio a little bit. And I think I think my computer can do it. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, what I wanted to say in this video specifically was just kind of a direction I'm going to step. So I know in my last videos I was really talking about art and drawing and all that, but I'm kind of realizing that I do like drawing and I do like art, but I do not like it, or I like it how I like playing video games. It's like hour or two a day. I can just sit down and like draw something or whatever, especially with this new job that I have. Uh, I'll get into that in a minute, but it includes a lot of sitting. So I'm doing a lot of drawing there. But with this new job, basically what I'm doing is I'm like a hotel front deskman. And so I'm just checking people into their rooms, and that's pretty much it. Uh, I started the job a couple days ago. I think I'm ending my first week here pretty soon. And it's going well. It's definitely going to work a lot better than doing the lube tech stuff, I think, because it's just going to, I'm not so drained all the time. I have some energy to go do stuff and pursue things like this. One of the things that I really want to kind of step into is like film and making like short movies, short story, documentary type things. Uh, just because I think the way that I've been doing like a lot of soul searching, I guess is the way to say it. And one thing that I'm really, really, really interested in is history. And one thing that I really like also is like the mysteries in history, if that makes sense. So I'm in Reno, Nevada, and it's a very strange city. Like I've been doing a little bit more research on like the history of this town, I guess. I mean, it's a city, but it's not like Vegas, it's not like LA or San Francisco, it's more like, it's kind of like a smaller version of Boise, Idaho, if that makes sense. But the history here is crazy. I mean, it's a gambling town. Casinos run the entire state, basically. I mean, the hotel job that I'm working at is in a casino. So the only job that I can find on short notice was a casino job, which I'm not complaining about. That is just gonna happen. I mean, it's our, what's the word? It's how our state makes money. So that just makes sense that that's where most of the people living in the state would be working at. Anyway, I've been really interested in the history of the city, and so I've been doing like deep dives, if that makes sense. I've been just going on the internet and looking up like history of XYZ, or like stories in XYZ, or like certain casinos, whatever, and what I found is like there's a mob used to they didn't really run the city, but there was a huge mob presence in the city, and it all had to do with the casinos. And so what I was kind of thinking of for the future of this channel was making like documentary style short form, not short form, but like short versions of like documentary style videos. Because when I hear documentary style, I think like hour, 2 hours, something like that, just super long. And I have never made a documentary in my life. I've never made a short film in my life. I've never made anything like that except for these YouTube videos. And I'm thinking that if I start small, make like a 5 to 10 minute documentary on like the history of Reno, or like some of the ghost towns that are in Nevada, or just something like that, just to like get my foot, to get some experience in making films, because that's ultimately what I keep on thinking about, when I'm at work, right? The job is pretty mundane. I'm not gonna lie. All you do is sit there, and it is the beginning of March right now. So we're like the middle of March right now. So it's really slow in Reno. I mean, most of the people, they come to this particular hotel because they ski, and they just go from the hotel. They get a room for the night or a couple nights, and then they go up in the mountains and they ski. Or during the summertime, they'll come down and stay in Reno for like all of the events that happen here in the summertime, And that's why this time of year right now, and then like early fall before the snow, is usually really, really slow. And so right now, a lot of it is just sitting there, kind of getting a layout of the user interface for the system I have to use to check people in and all of that. And I will say, there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than I thought. I mean, I really thought that it was just like, oh, pick the room, pick the type of room, whatever, check the person in, get the payment, we're all good. There's a lot more to it. I mean, that's essentially 50% of it, but then there's also like rate plans, there's also like VIP members, and then there's the whole gaming side of it, because I also have to do some stuff on the gaming half, which that honestly is like printing out cards, but it's not too bad. But there is some little nuanced stuff in there that I have to be careful of. But uh, what I'm trying to kind of say is that a lot of my time right now is sitting there just waiting for people to come in or waiting for people to get cards, right? And so I have a lot of time to just kind of think and to kind of, like I said, draw and like come up with little ideas and all that. And my head keeps on going to like making a film or writing a story or doing something like that for a career, making that into like uh, a sort of business, doing something with that regard. And I think that if I was able to learn how to do it and learn the ins and outs of storytelling and cinematography, that I would be able to maybe do something in that field, because it all kind of cycles back to who I am. I've worked a lot of jobs these last like 3 years. I mean, people say I've been like job hopping, and yeah, I guess I have kind of been job hopping a little bit. But what I'm kind of learning about that, I'm not job hopping on purpose. I'm trying to find a place that fits me, And what I'm kind of learning is that if I'm working 9 to 5 for a company or a corporation that doesn't give a shit about me, that will kick me out like that, I have no motivation to do it. Especially when I'm doing stuff like, I don't want to start talking bad about my job right now, but like I'm just checking people in and making cards for people, That's all I'm doing. And it's very like draining in a way. And I do not want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do this for maybe a couple of years while I get this stuff going. But it's hard. It's very hard, and it's very what's the word? Just like soul crushing, I guess. Thinking about that fact that I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life for 50 years after, now, just the same thing over and over and over again. It sucks. And I know that I am that way as a person. That's how I view things. I talked to my brother about it, and he says, well, that's a pretty negative way to view life. And it's like, well, that's the way I view it. That's the way I see it. I'm not going to fight myself with that, because I've been doing that the last couple years, and I'm done. I'm done trying to do that. I need to go with my nature and go with who I am, what's in my body, what's in my heart, and what's in my soul, and run with that. Because if I don't, I mean, I'm just going to be miserable, and I'm not going to be doing the best job that I can do. Like yesterday at work, you know, I'm still learning, and I will blame this mistake on that, but somebody wanted to check in a dog, and you have to do a whole other thing to check in a dog, and I didn't do any of it. I just made them pay the fucking extra deposit, and that was it. Uh, but I'm gonna blame that on being new. I'm also gonna blame that on I really just don't have a passion enough, and I just don't really care enough about it to to do that. To take all those extra steps and really learn it. I do, or I am going to learn it because I need to have this job for a couple of years. Because I need to have this job to support me for what I want to ultimately do. And I think that is doing something with film, doing something with storytelling and writing, something in that area regard, because it's just super interesting, and it just keeps on popping in my head. I mean, I've been writing like little short stories on my phone while I'm sitting at work waiting for people to come in, and they're just like little horror stories, kind of like uh, these are the rules for working at a gas station or whatever, just stupid little things that pop in my head. But uh, I think I am going to try and do something in that regard. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is try and make the documentary. Problem is, I don't know what kind of documentary I want to make. I don't have my concept. I don't have anything yet. So we're just going to do what I have to do and, branch out some ideas. And I'm going to take my time on this because I think I rush through things a little bit too fast, and it just all falls apart. But anyway, just a little quick check-in. Just want to let y'all know what I'm up to, things going through my head. Feeling a lot better mentally because I am working. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on the process of making this video too. So peace out.